We go back to the Deseret First Credit Union hotline now for our next guest, the head coach of the Nebraska Cornhuskers, MIke Riley. Coach, welcome to BYU Sports Nation.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys. It's good to be on.
And we're glad to have you with us. So we want to start with this. What was your first thought when you realized that your friend Bronco Mendenhall and BYU would be your first opponent as the head coach at Nebraska?
Oh, I thought, oh boy, here we go. We are jumping right into the fire with this one. There's no doubt about it. So that was my first thought when I saw that.
Coach, when you look fall camp's over, specific preparations for BYU have begun. What do you feel like you know about your team?
Well, that's been our biggest project since we got here. Actually, after hiring the staff, that was, on all levels. Who are these guys and kind of the development of the player-coach relationship. It was weird for me starting over after having been at Oregon State for 12 straight years, but that is both very important to do and also fun to do. It's just getting to know a bunch of new people. So, we had to know about them also on the football field and how to best utilize their skills and fit into what we wanted to do with the football part of it.
MIke Riley, the head coach of the Nebraska Cornhuskers, with us on BYU Sports Nation. Coach, what's been the biggest challenge of implementing a very successful pro-style offense you had at Oregon State with the personnel now that you have at Nebraska, guys you didn't necessarily recruit?
Well, the probably it's been good for us, but probably just looking at particularly the quarterback skill set. It's like, okay, here's what we've been and done, and what do we need to continue here, and what fits, and then what fits with the quarterback, and what can we do with him. So it's made us open up our minds a little bit and look into some other stuff, and that is another one of those things that's challenging, but also, in the football world, it's kind of fun to delve into something a little bit different. And then the rest of it wasn't too hard. It's a good core of receivers that are here, and offensive line, a lot of returners there, and a good crew of tailbacks. So the quarterback skill set's probably the most intriguing part of all that transition.
After 7 straight seasons, and obviously tradition at Nebraska, a lot of people expect to win and win right away. So what kind of challenge is that for you, and maybe expectation on your shoulders in year one?
Well, there's no doubt there's tremendous expectations here. This place is, historically a championship team, conference championships all over the walls everywhere, and national championship trophies. So, the expectations are high, and you don't come to a place like this without understanding that. And what I tell people all the time, though, is I think coaches are the ones that put the highest expectations on themselves and how they want to do. So, that part of it, we always feel that kind of anxiousness and all those parts that really lead you into doing your very best job for the kids in preparation.
Yeah, I've heard Bronco Mendenhall reference that very thing more than a few times during interviews with him. As you look at your 3 previous meetings with BYU, all when you were the head coach at Oregon State, what can you take away from those, or what do you take away from those, rather, as you prepare now as the head coach at Nebraska?
Well, one thing I've already told our team, this will be a well-prepared, physical, hard-playing football team that they know exactly what they're doing. They have a style about them that I think is great to see in a football program because they've built it through many years. I really not only admire the work that he does, but I really like Bronco. I think he's a great guy for college football, and I'm proud to have known him for a long time, served on a board of trustees with the AFCA with him. So I just think he's good for college football, does a great job with the program, and they have, and like I said, an identity that is established, can only be established over a long period of time.
Coach, in 2012, you would have played against a freshman Taysom Hill if he weren't injured, but who pops on film, and what do you think of Taysom Hill?
Well, he's a unique individual. He's one of those guys that, I don't even know if versatility describes it well enough. It sounds understated, but he's just a really good football player that you've got to find a way to account for him because he affects the game in so many ways.
Mike Riley with us on BYU Sports Nation, the head coach of the Nebraska Cornhuskers, 3 days away from kicking off the season at Memorial Stadium in Lincoln. Speaking of Lincoln, Coach, what's been the biggest difference between Corvallis and now the Midwest and Lincoln, Nebraska?
There's a big difference in January, that's for sure. I think that there's almost more similarities than differences as far as the place. I think you're talking about two great college towns, which it's fun to be a part of, and be in an environment like that, which I've really enjoyed, and relatively the same size schools, and that part of it has been just pretty easy, I suppose, is the best way to say it. Although here I can't live quite close enough to ride a bike to work, which is a little bit of a change for
That's
me.
Right.
But no, it's a great place, and I'm proud to have been at a great place for a long time. So for me, it's all good, and I'm just thankful for the opportunities, and for my wife and I, this is like one more great adventure in our tour, and we've loved it all.
What part or parts of your team give you the greatest confidence that you will win on Saturday versus BYU?
Well, I feel good about our lines, which is a comforting place to look. I think that we have pretty good depth in both lines, and like I said, if that can be a stable part for you through the year, that really helps. And then there's which we'll need to have because this is going to be a great challenge for him, but a pretty experienced secondary that has to play real smart against this team.
If BYU fans were to look at Nebraska, who are some of the names they should pay attention to? We've mentioned Malik Collins, but is there anybody else that BYU fans are going to become well acquainted with on Saturday?
Well, I think his partner up front, Vince Valentine, is a really, really good football player. The two defensive tackles are definitely strengths for us, and I think that a guy that has played a little before and I've been impressed with since we got here is Josh Banderas at middle linebacker. And offensively, it's a mixed bag of people. I think you should look at. I like our quarterback, Tommy Armstrong. He's a real football player, very competitive. Love coaching him because he's just like a sponge and he just works at it real hard. And there's a good group of people around him, including the left tackle Alex Lewis, who I think is a good player. So those are a few of our names that I think can be mentioned, and we expect good things from.
Coach, a couple of BYU fans have asked me to ask you this, as well as we like asking head coaches. Where is the restaurant BYU fans need to hit in Lincoln when they visit this Saturday?
Oh, don't put me on that spot because there's too many of them. I had to live downtown for a long time, in the transition, and I hit most of them. I just tell them they can go downtown or they can go into an area called the Haymarket, and they won't be wrong.
Go to the Haymarket, people.
Yeah.
As heard on BYU Sports Nation from the head coach, Mike Riley of the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Coach, we appreciate the time during a very busy week for you, and we look forward to the game on Saturday.
Thank you, guys. Good to be on with you.